Hey guys, it's Duranasaur, and I wanted to do this series on videos and runs from the Classic Dungeon Speed Discord that were submitted. These are going to be some of the fastest dungeon speedruns that have happened throughout the course of Classic. The Classic Dungeon Speed community has been together and doing events and doing leaderboards since about the end of Phase 4, beginning of Phase 5. And so with us coming up on the end of Classic, I wanted to hit some of the highlights and the fastest times for as many dungeons as I could. And moving into TBC, we can get more excited about what's to come. We are planning on doing TBC heroics, speedrunning, raid speedrunning, and all that. And it's going to be under a new organization that I'm super proud to be a part of. So check that out in the description below. It's dungeoncleave.com. So just dungeoncleave.com. And you'll be able to find all of our information there, the leaderboards, our Discord, all that stuff. So I'm doing these to showcase what we were able to do in vanilla. And I'm hoping that this will get people excited about TBC and what's to come and get people running dungeons more. So let's jump right into this one. So this is an Undead strat. This is a very fast run. This is an 8-minute, 8-second run, and this was done by the guild Dark Circle on Stratholme. So yeah, we'll just jump straight into this. This is I'm pretty sure this is a 4 warrior, 1 paladin group. And so the rules for this are when this first gate opens, that's when the time starts. Time ends when you kill Baron Rivendare. That's all there is. You can do anything you want outside of that. So you can see they're fully world buffed. They have DMF. I think they might all be soul stoned, like they are buffed to the 9s. So this warrior comp, this is pretty normal, pretty for these speedruns, especially when there's no rules about what classes you can bring. A lot of people rely on the thick warrior DPS that comes from just stacking warriors. So you'll see right here, they're pulling multiple groups here, just getting them all grouped up so that they can get cleave down as fast as possible. So even sending that warrior out ahead to get that done. The gate's also already open. So you'll see, like, while they had different warriors grabbing these different groups and getting them grouped up for easier cleave, they also had people moving ahead, opening up the gates just to limit the amount of time standing around. So even right now, I think they're still in combat. There's still caster mobs behind them, but they're pushing forward because they know those mobs will catch up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Right here, they're going to do a monster pull. Something that if a normal group came into UD strat, a normal pug group came into UD strat and did this, they'd probably be freaking out a little bit. But this is one of the things you're able to do when you actually come into these dungeons with full world buffs. It's insane to think that most people's experiences in dungeons are without world buffs. A lot of times you're not doing them with people that are in full bis gear. And so when you make that leap to world buffs to bis gear, the things that you can accomplish are actually pretty insane. So you'll actually see here, they're going to skip the Anub boss and come straight here. This is normally the second boss in the dungeon. You'll see what they're doing here after they kill this boss and they get moving on afterwards. They're actually going to take a different route than I think most people typically take in a UD strat. So they're going to blow up Baroness. The goal here, and see, you're going to see they're popping wreck. The reason being, you need to kill her before the MC goes out. Because for a couple reasons. One, that MC can kill someone easily, because when you are MC'd, you do a hell of a lot more damage, so the chances of losing someone to that MC target are pretty high. And two, it's a time save, because when someone gets MC'd, everyone has to switch DPS to that person. You need to make sure you don't kill that person, and then after the MC finishes, you have to wait for her to kind of phase back in, and then you kill her. So very good for them. They're blowing wreck on that boss just to eliminate any possibility of that happening. And then you'll see here, again, just cleaving mobs down, cleaving packs down. If you have not done one of these, if you have not done a classic dungeon with a full bis-geared group with world buffs, I would say try it just to see what you can accomplish, how much fun it is, because it's an entirely different experience. And especially when you think about what it's like compared to maybe when you were farming original Prebis, like vastly different. Vastly different experience, and I think a hell of a lot more fun. So they send one warrior in to solo the ziggurats. Oh, they actually have 2 warriors in there right now, soloing the ziggurats. And one of the reasons is, so you come into this section here, this is where people typically probably don't, they don't take this route, right? And you might think, okay, they're losing a bunch of time here because they're stuck in the middle of this gate. But they're actually saving time because the amount of trash they're going to be able to skip coming up here. So it's a different route, a different strategy. I think that in a pug, it might be something that you avoid just because, you know, the gates in general can be super annoying. If you don't have a class that can really AoE those cockroaches down, those bugs, those rats, whatever it is, that can be a super sketchy spot. And you'll see here, they're threading the needle right here too. Like they're trying their absolute best to only pull the trash that they need to pull. And I think they're even getting things, they're getting extra things even with this. And they're just continuing to cleave. Cleave everything down. Cleave everything down. Paladin's mana, meanwhile, still above half. I think they've been in combat for the majority of this dungeon. But it's a paladin, no worries. One of the other benefits of being in a 4-warrior comp is there's the gargoyles, the screechers, the ones who fear. With 4 warriors, that like you're just limiting the amount of danger that puts you in, right? Being able to Berserker Rage or Death Wish to get out of fears just means that they're not that scary. Even if they come with a bunch of other mobs, not a big deal. You're going to see they're just going to burst down Maleki. Still moving. Sending 2 warriors in there. And I think, if anything, there's like a slight time loss here. Potential time loss here. And it's because if all of their warriors were with them, they'd be able to just drag all these mobs into the gate and get started with this next part of the event. But they're kind of sitting here. They're taking their time here. Paladin could probably even drink right here. He's healing. He's healing. Oh, they've got rats on him. That's part of the problem. And then we're going to see how many of these they pull at a time. These are one of those mobs where, you know, if you're running this again in a pug or if you're farming Prebis or something, like you pull 2 of these, you start to clinch up a little bit. They've got 5 of them right now. Cleaving them down, going over, dragging more. And you gotta remember, every time one of those spewers dies, it spawns a bunch of the bile slimes. So at a certain point, like Cleave and Whirlwind are like, they're maxed out. You're not actually hitting any more targets. So for a comp like this, you do sort of hit a threshold of like, all right, there are too many mobs out. Like, we're not actually killing things any faster. Paladin actually had to bubble right there, probably because of all of the slimes that got spawned. And then up here, you're going to see, they're going to do the one thing that, like, to me has been the biggest thing for these UD strat speedruns, right? So often I think people, like Ramstein comes out, people kill him, and then they have to sit around and wait for those guards, the like big skeleton guards, to come out of here, and it's like minutes of your day, minutes of your run. But if you actually come up and you just like rush into this door as soon as Ramstein spawns, then you get to fight him in here, the door closes, and you get to immediately fight these guards. And then as soon as all these guards die, the door to Baron opens, and you just get to rush right in. Paladin is only now getting low on mana. after everything. So again, this was an 8-minute and 8-second UD strat. So if people might remember from back in the day, or even if they did like the 0.5 quest chain in Classic, you're supposed to do what, like a sub 40-minute strat. And for some groups, that's a challenge. For these guys, they're probably kicking themselves thinking we could have gotten sub 8. And they absolutely crush it, right? They push and hold that W key. They never stop moving. The routing that they do is the typical routing for these UD strat speedruns. When I jump into the full strat speedrun, we'll actually see a faster UD strat. Because in the full strat speedrun, the group who has the fastest time, they went and did a full Undead strat before heading over to live side. So we're going to see an even faster UD strat speedrun, but this one is the highest one on the leaderboard for UD strat, and I wanted to highlight them because this team actually put a bunch of time and effort into achieving this singular goal. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to check out their run. When we get to the full live strat run, we will see what they did differently to, I think, edge these guys out with the Undead strat side. Thanks for watching these. Like I said, I have a full strat that I can go over. I have a live strat. I have a Dire Maul West. I have Dire Maul East. And if we wanted to, we could even watch Zeroji hit his world record Dire Maul North Tribute run. But there are still a few that have not really been tackled yet. And so I'm hoping I do have a Classic Dungeon speedrun competition coming up on May 8th. By the time this video gets out, there might not be a lot of time for registration, but that is a lower Blackrock Spire run. If anyone before pre-patch hits wants to try to get in and hit some top times on the leaderboard, check out the description below. I'll have a link to the Classic Dungeon Speed Discord, as well as information on what we're doing in TBC and all that. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, come back, check stuff out, especially heading into TBC. And as always, happy hunting.